Hello? Oh. Really? Really? Hello? Oh. Really? Hello? Really? Really?
This is where you'll find all the things that you've made or won. Over time, it'll become an awe-inspiring display of your progress.
现在做我的这没法搞，现在也是
Washed upon a brackish shore, the cartographer searches for something lost.
Ah, a nice... Here's where you come to customize your imp. This is just a small selection. There will be lots more soon. Ah, a nice little spot to show everyone your best self. And a place for your fluffy, impy friend to live. Make yourself comfortable. So, you want to learn the ropes of dream shaping, but you don't know where the tools are on the shelf, or how to use that intriguing gadget. Or you want to know what that strange contraption over there does. Dream crafters, assist us. Ah, hello architect. Hello engineer.
Hello, Queenie. Why are we squirrels?
Just a temporary physical form for you. I like it. It's cute.
Well, thank you. It's better than the last one.
Yeah, at least there are no tentacles this time.
Now, show this Dream Shaper how to unleash their creative powers.
Done! Follow me, Dreamer. Oh, it's so exciting that you're here. I have been really looking forward to this.
There's so much to show you. Gameplay, animation, art.
There's no limit to what's possible.
Welcome to the Dreams Workshop. Have a browse of the tutorials, masterclasses, and how-to videos we've got here. If you're new to dream shaping, maybe try the Start Dreaming tutorials first. They'll get you up to speed with all the basics of dream shaping.
Look at you with your fancy motion controllers. Looks like you're ready to start wielding them like a first-class dream shaper. In this tutorial, you'll master the basic controls you learned in the home space. But this time, you'll have the full freedom of edit mode. Use the video player to play through the tutorial steps. Follow the steps carefully. It's not just about getting to the end, it's the journey that counts. So here we are. This is where the magic happens. Edit mode. Somewhere in this scene I've hidden a puppet, which we'll need in later tutorials. I've left some clues to help you find it. But before we search for the first clue, let's remind ourselves how to move around using motion controllers. You should be able to see two imps on the screen, tracking the movement of your motion controllers. If you can't see them, just make sure that you're in front of your PlayStation camera, then hold down the start button on either motion controller until the imps reappear. You can do this at any time to recalibrate your imps if they feel too close, too far away, or off-center. The primary imp is the one with a face. You control this imp with your dominant hand. You can set your handedness in your preferences, which you can find in the options menu. Your secondary imp holds the assembly menu. You can bring it up by holding down the T button on your secondary controller. That's the one underneath that looks like a trigger. Try it now. You won't need it just yet, so go ahead and release the T button to hide it again. Your imps are used to move around the scene in 3D space. Using either controller, press and hold the move button, and just twist and tilt the controller a little bit. We call this using the grab cam. Where you grab in space is important, as that's the point your view will rotate around. Now try grabbing with either move button and looking around you. Okay, let's turn back towards the shapes floating on the island. Reach out with your imp, then hold the move button on that controller to grab that point in space. Then, while you hold the move button, pull that controller back towards you to pull yourself forward in the scene. You can do this with either controller, so you can alternate them to pull yourself along. Use the move buttons to grab cam towards those two shapes on that cloud, then push yourself back away from them. You can even move from side to side in a similar way. Be careful not to press both move buttons at the same time. That triggers another function, which I'll explain in a moment. If you do it by mistake, don't worry. just use your primary X button to press the red button that appears by your secondary imp. When you're comfortable with moving and looking around with the grab cam, you're ready to move on to the next step. Press the arrow button on the video to continue. My first clue is hidden somewhere on this island. We should probably look around these objects and see if we can find it. To do that, we first need to set our imp reach. Remember I told you not to press both move buttons at the same time in the last step? Well, now's the time to do just that. Hold your imp so that their tips are either side of the shapes on the cloud. Then tap both move buttons at once. Don't hold them down this time. You'll see a circle with a number in it for a moment. That means your imp reach has changed. You'll notice that very little else will change, but now your imps can easily reach the shapes on the cloud, as if they're at arm's length. That's why we call this maneuver changing your imp reach. Now that you can reach further in the scene, you can easily move around the shapes. Just grab cam onto the shapes and rotate your point of view around them. The point in space where you grab is the point you'll rotate around, so remember to wiggle the imp when you grab cam to check its position. Try that now and look for the clue. Once you've found it, move on to the next step. Did you find that clue? It was on the back of one of those shapes. Looks a bit like a rocket. I do love a cryptic message. Why don't you look around with the grab cam for any rocket-related goings-on? Don't forget to twist and tilt your view a little each time you grab. Ah, look over there, on that island in the distance. Those shapes look a lot like the ones in the clue. That's a long way away. Try changing your imp reach to get us there more easily. Hold your imp's tips either side of the target, then tap both move buttons. Now use your extended reach to grab that island and pull yourself over to it. Simple. Now that you're next to it, you'll need to adjust your imp reach again so you can interact with these objects more easily. With your imps on either side of an object, tap both move buttons. If there isn't an object where you need one, just find something at a similar distance and set your imp reach using that. If you get in a kerfuffle, just select the 1-to-1 imp reach button near the secondary imp, using X on the primary controller. This will reset your imp reach back to the default scale. Changing the imp reach is a powerful technique for navigating scenes. Changing the X on the primary cons. If there isn't an object where you need one, just find something at a similar distance and set your imp reach using that. If you get in a kerfuffle, just select the 1-to-1 imp reach button near the secondary imp, using X on the primary controller. This will reset your imp reach back to the default scale. Changing the imp reach is a powerful technique for navigating scenes. In fact, it's so powerful, you could easily get lost in the scene if you accidentally set your imp reach too high. If you do get lost, just hover over the mode icon in the corner of the screen. In assembly mode, the icon is a puzzle piece. Here you'll find a camera bookmark that'll take you back to where you started in the scene. Select it with X and you'll be back in familiar territory. And remember, you can recalibrate your imps at any time. Just press and hold either start button for a couple of seconds. Once you reach the island, make sure you're looking directly at the cylinder and the cone at a sensible distance. When you're ready, move on to the next step. Think back to the first clue. The cone was on top of the cylinder, right? But how can you move them? Well, in edit mode, you interact with everything using your primary imp, the very tip of your imp's pointy part. See how there's an icon in a circle there? That shows you what tool the imp is using. Right now, it's the arrows icon, which means the imp is using the move tool. That's the default tool in edit mode, because editing a scene means moving things around a lot. Let's see the primary imp in action. First, grab the cone. Hover over it with your imp, then press and hold the primary T button. That's the trigger button underneath the controller. Now your imp has grabbed it, simply move the cone by moving the controller. Try to put it on top of the cylinder, just like in the clue. It's important to remember that grabbing with the T button is different to using the grab cam. When you're using the T button, you can grab anything, no matter how far away you are, as long as the tip of your imp is hovering over it. You don't have to be able to physically reach it with your imp the way you do with the grab cam. Get it roughly into place, and I'll show you how to refine it later. If the video player gets in your way, grab and move it with your imp using the primary T button. Or you can minimize the video and play along with audio only. Or you can maximize it to watch it in instructions view if you prefer. In instructions view, you can see more information about the steps. Once you're done, you're ready for the next step. In your way, grab and move it with your imp using the primary T button. Or you can minimize the video and play along with audio only. Or you can maximize it to watch it in instructions view if you prefer. In instructions view, you can see more information about the steps. Once you're done, you're ready for the next step. Now, that looks pretty good, at least from this angle. Creating scenes in three-dimensional space means that you should always look at your creations from different angles. The easiest way to do that is with the grab cam. Just like before, grab with either move button and rotate your point of view. Try it out on the cone. Don't forget to set your imp reach. Place the imp on a point in 3D space that you want to rotate around, then press and hold the move button on that controller. Now rotate the controller to move your point of view around the cone. Your wrist will only bend so far, so let go of the move button and grab and turn again. Then press and hold the move button on that controller. Then press and, just like before, grab means... Now that looks pretty good, at least from this angle. Creating scenes in three-dimensional space means that you should always look at your creations from different angles. The easiest way to do that is with the grab cam. Just like before, grab with either move button and rotate your point of view. Try it out on the cone. Don't forget to set your imp reach. Place the imp on a point in 3D space that you want to rotate around, then press and hold the move button on that controller. Now rotate the controller to move your point of view around the cone. Your wrist will only bend so far, so let go of the move button and grab and turn again if you need to. Now that you can get a proper look at it, check that the cone is on straight. Unlike mine. When you're at the right angle, use the primary T button to grab the cone and make any adjustments you need. Don't forget to recalibrate your imps if you need to. If you need a reminder of the controls at any time, select the mode icon in the corner of the screen. This menu shows you the mode you're in, the tool you're using, and a list of controls. Select the button again to hide the controls. Here's a little secret: controls. Recalibrate your imps if you need to. If you need a reminder of the controls at any time, select the mode icon in the corner of the screen. This menu shows you the mode you're in, the tool you're using, and a list of controls. Select the button again to hide the controls. Here's a little secret called nudge. If you don't press T all the way down, but just hold it lightly, you can move the cone slowly, giving you finer control. Once you're happy the cone is straight, you can move on to the next step. Hey, look at that. Another clue. It's a molecule. I know because I put it there. Just play along with me. Why don't you look around with the grab cam and see if you can find another molecule? There's one, over there by that island. You're hot on the trail. We could change our imp reach and pull ourselves there with the grab cam. But there's another way to zip around scenes without changing your imp reach. It uses the move button, like the grab cam, but you'll also need to hold the secondary triangle button. Maybe it's best if I show you. See that orange cube in the distance? Hover your primary imp over it to highlight it. Now hold the secondary triangle button and then tap the primary move button, which is the grab cam button. You don't have to hold it. Whoa! Fast, huh? You see, the secondary triangle button is a very special button. You know the way that on a computer keyboard holding down Shift changes what some keys do? Well, in the secondary grab cam button, you don't have to hold it. Whoa! Fast, huh? You see, the secondary triangle button is a very special button. You know the way that on a computer keyboard holding down Shift changes what some keys do? Well, in Dreams, holding down the secondary triangle button changes what the other buttons do. Look around this island and see if you can find my next clue. Set your imp reach to one of the objects and use the grab cam to look around the island. Remember to choose your point of rotation carefully with your imp when you're using the grab cam. Once you've found the clue, you can move on to the next step. Did you find the last clue? It was on the back of the orange cube. What on earth could it mean? If I had eyes, I would wink at you right now. I can't see any other green trash cans around. Unless, of course, the trash can is the icon for the delete tool. I'm so devious. That must mean you need to delete the orange cube. You can delete anything in edit mode using the primary triangle button. Just hover your primary imp over the cube, then press the primary triangle button. And it's gone. These tools are powerful. Delete the orange sphere next. If you change your mind or delete the wrong thing, you can undo. Just tilt or twist your primary controller to the left and press its square button. And if you want to redo, just tilt or twist it to the right and press the primary square button. You can undo and redo pretty much anything, not just deletions. Oh look, there was a clue hidden in the cube. An arrow. Perhaps there's another one like it nearby. Look around with the grab cam and see if you can spot it. Once you've found it, you can move on to the next step. That was my final clue telling you where to go. The island right above us. I know you're an expert in moving around horizontally, but let's practice moving vertically. Look up at the island above and set your imp reach to it. Use the grab cam. Press the move button alternately on each controller and pull to climb up and see what's on that island. We're nearly at the end of the tutorial now. But if you want to re-watch any steps, just use the skip buttons on the video player to go back to a previous video. Or just rewind 10 seconds if you miss something. When you've made it to the final island, you can start the next step. Right, here's the puppet I reserved for you. Let's call her Connie, 'cause she looks like a cone. We need to help Connie walk through the door to complete this tutorial. To do that, we're gonna have to switch over to play mode. Remember, right now you're in edit mode. This is where you create and edit your scenes. In play mode, you can experience the scene just like a player would if they found it in the Dreamiverse. You can't make any changes in play mode, but you can take control of characters and try out what you've made. To switch over to play mode, open the options menu by pressing the start button on either controller. Hover over the controller icon with your primary imp, then press X to select it. To control a puppet in play mode, you first need to possess it with your primary imp. Hover over Connie, then press your primary T button. She's full of beans, isn't she? I picked her just for you. Now that you've possessed Connie, hold the secondary T button to make her walk. While she's walking, you can tilt the secondary controller to steer. You can also rotate the camera view around Connie by holding the primary move button and tilting the controller. Practice walking her around, then take her to the door. Oh, looks like the door's too high. There's more to Connie than meets the eye, though. She might be able to reach it if you make her jump by pressing the primary X button. Oops. I remember now. I always forget to put the steps in. Better head back into edit mode. To switch back to edit mode, just press start again and then select the pencil icon. When you're back in edit mode, head to the final step. Did you see those stairs on the island below us? Those might come in handy now, so let me show you a new move to help us retrieve them. There's a quick way to move and change your imp reach at the same time. Let's give it a try. Move both imps apart, then hold both of the move buttons. While still holding both move buttons, move the imps together like you're closing some curtains. This maneuver will move you away from the target whilst extending your imp reach. You'll notice a circle and a number while you're zooming. These show you what your imp reach is. Keep zooming out until you can see both islands, the one above and the one below. If you've deleted the stairs, you can undo by tilting or twisting the primary controller to the left and pressing the primary square button. Just keep pressing the square button until the stairs come back. Okay, now set your imp reach by tapping both move buttons, with your imp tips on each side of the stairs. Then grab the stairs with your primary T button, and, without letting go, Move the stairs roughly into position in front of the door. When they're roughly in position, let go of the T button. You can tidy it up in a moment. Now zoom in on the stairs. Position your imps on either side of them, then hold both move buttons and move the controllers apart. When you're zoomed in, let go of the move buttons and adjust the position of the stairs for Connie. If you need to recalibrate after all that zooming about, just hold either start button until the imps snap back to the center of the screen. There, that should do it. It's back to play mode now. Remember, press start, then select the controller icon with your primary imp. You'll be switching back and forth between edit and play mode a lot when you're creating your own scenes. It's a great way to test out your scenes, making sure they look and work just how you want them to. Okay, I think we can get Connie to the next lesson now. All we need to do is walk her through the door. Possess Connie with the primary T button, then hold the secondary T button to make her move. What are you waiting for? Get in there. Now you've got the hang of moving things around in edit mode, it's time to master manipulating objects. just as well, because Connie's friend Cuthbert fell asleep in the Dreamiverse and got stranded. Yes, he's a cube with legs. Connie didn't choose her friends. I did. So, we need to fix these platforms if she's going to reach the flag and get to Cuthbert. Before we fix the platforms, let's switch to play mode to see how a player would experience this scene. Press the start button on either controller to open the options menu. Then select play mode with the primary X button. Its icon looks like a controller. Once you're in play mode, possess Connie with the primary T button. It's easy to remember which is the primary controller and which is the secondary. Your primary controller's imp has a face, while your secondary doesn't. When you're possessing Connie, hold the secondary T button to run forwards. It's pressure sensitive, so pressing it lightly will move Connie more slowly. Start by jumping over to the first platform using the primary X button. Oh dear, looks like it's too far for Connie. Move that first platform closer. To do that, head back into edit mode. Open the options menu and select the button with the pencil icon. Once you're in edit mode, move on to the next step. We have to do something about these platforms if Connie's going to reach the other side. First, let's get a good look at them. Position your imps on either side of the first platform, then set your imp reach by tapping both move buttons at the same time. Then use the grab cam to position your view side on to Connie and the platform. See the dotted outlines? That's where the platforms should be. So let's put them in place with the Move tool. The imp has this equipped by default. To move things, hover the tip of your imp over them and press and hold the primary T button. Move it to where you want it and release the T button. Try it now with that first movable platform. You can get a slower, more precise movement if you hold the T button softly. And if you need to try again, just undo your action by tilting the primary controller to the left and pressing its square button. When the platform is in the right spot, you're ready for the next step. Now that the first platform's in position, let's test it out. Open the options menu and select play mode with the primary X button. Connie's on the starting platform, ready for another try. Take control of her with the primary T button and see if she can jump over the gap now. Hope she made it this time. If not, you can always go back and edit things again. In fact, let's try doing that now and see what happens. Select Edit Mode from the Options menu. Look at that. Connie isn't in her starting place anymore. That's because time passes when you're in play mode. And the scene doesn't rewind automatically when you return to Edit Mode. Instead, things will be frozen in the state you left them when you were playing. But you can easily rewind things. Just open the Assembly menu by holding the secondary T button, then select the Rewind button with your primary imp. Make sure you can see the secondary imp as the menu is attached to it. When you press the Rewind button, everything that changed in play mode will rewind back to the beginning. doing this won't reset any changes you made in edit mode. See? Connie is back to her starting position, but the platform remains where you left it. Try to get into the habit of rewinding time after you play scenes. That way, you'll avoid any problems. There are times when it's useful to leave things as they are after playing, but when in doubt, rewind. Okay, if your platform's in the right place and you've had a successful test run with Connie, you can move on to the next step. Let's sort out the next platform now. It's the middle one that's lying on its side. Before you can match it up with the outline, you'll need to stand it upright. You can rotate objects in edit mode by grabbing them with the primary T button and rotating the controller. Give it a go now. You don't have to turn it all the way in one go. Simply let go of the platform and grab it again once you've turned it as far as your wrist will comfortably allow. Bear in mind that your imp's tip is at the center point of the rotation, so you can grab the platform at different points and see how it affects the rotation. All that rotating has made the platform a bit wonky, so let's undo all that by tilting the primary controller left and pressing its square button. Grab and hold the primary T button with your imp over the platform and try to rotate it into a vertical position. Once you have it more or less upright, you can let go of the T button. Then grab it again, but just lightly press the T button so you can nudge it precisely into the matching outline. That's quite a lot of buttons to remember, isn't it? Well, if you ever forget what to press, just look at the prompts around your imp. Or select the mode icon in the top left of the screen with your primary X button. They'll show you what buttons you can use in any situation. Select the mode icon again to hide the list if it gets in the way. Practice grabbing and rotating things with the primary T button until you're comfortable. Now that you've platform, it might end the object you're grabbing by press its square button. If you do delete something by accident, remember you can undo it. Just tilt the primary controller to the left and press its square button. Once you're happy with the position and alignment of the middle platform, you should switch over to play mode and test it out. So, select the controller icon in the options menu and possess Connie to see how far final platform. Remember to rewind time. Hold the secondary T button to open the assembly menu and select rewind with the primary X button. Now we can go on to the next step. Now the only thing separating Connie from Cuthbert is the bit small compared to the others. Twisting the controller one way scales the object up. Now that you know how to move, rotate and scale things, you should be able to get the final platform into its matching frame at the right height. You can also use the secondary circle button and twist method to scale objects while you're grabbing them. Okay, when everything is where it should be, go into play mode. Don't forget to rewind time. Hold the secondary T button to open the menu. Don't forget to rewind time. Hold the Don't forget to rewind time. Hold the secondary T button to open the menu and select the rewind button. Let's go on to the next step. Scale objects while you're grabbing them. Okay, when everything is where it should be, Go into play mode and see if Connie can reach the flag. Once Connie reaches the flag, head into edit mode again. Don't forget to rewind time. Hold the secondary T button to open the menu and select the rewind button. Let's go on to the next step.